It is a lasting love.
You're welcome back, and this is Lasting Love. And I've been talking to Femi and Busola Adun. And today we'll be talking about partnership in marriage. Thank you once again, Femi and Busola.
Pleasure.
Now tell me your own precise definition of marriage to start with.
It's about two people making a decision, irrespective of their backgrounds and in their differences, to journey life together and not just make the most out of it, but in a way find a way how that union can brighten other people's life as well.
Thank you. Busola, what was God thinking of when he decided to institute marriage?
For me, I would say God was thinking of co-creation when he was thinking about marriage, where he understood that he alone could not populate the world all by himself. And for him to be able to see the world be what truly he intended it to be, which was for his creation to multiply, to take dominion and to beautify what he had already created. So I would take co-creation. So it's about God, as for me personally, I just feel God realized that he couldn't do it all by himself. He's almighty, we know that, but he wanted to see the beauty of the people that he had created multiply and make the world a beautiful place.
Amen. You want to add to that?
Yeah, she's rightly said it. God had that in mind. God had, populating the earth. Of course, we are co-creators, like you said, with God. There's an agenda God has on earth, and through marriage, we could, establish that. Because families are, like they say, a community is a reflection of the family institution right there. So, like in my opinion, I always say that when God spoke to, when God had intention, it made his intention of replenishing the earth. When God had made his intention of reformation on earth, made known, he spoke to the family. And that's why I feel that every institution, working to make the world a better place must have some sense of family, orientation, understanding, and some family values, embedded in their, in their constitution. Because the family which begins with husband and wife, plays a major role, in bringing, adding value to the world we live in today. So I believe that God had that in mind, when God was instituting marriage.
Now, Busola, the man and the woman, are they equal in real life?
Wow, that's a very tough question now in our day now, because we have people who believe that a man and a woman are equal. But I would say that in doing that is when we try to place men and women in that sense as they being equal, is you taking away the power that we have as individuals. I wouldn't want to say that we're equal, because that's a comparison, and I don't really, that's me, my own opinion. I don't think we, as a man, as a woman, you need to compare yourself. You just need to grow in the strength that you have, because we're individuals. We have our individual strengths, we have our individual weaknesses. So when we start comparing, that's the downside to comparison. When you start comparing, you lose focus on your own strength. So I wouldn't say, a man and a woman are equal. No, I would say it's about us being individuals and developing our strengths, rather than focusing on our weaknesses, and being better people as a man, as a woman. So love yourself the way you are, and just, keep at it. But there's no need for us to compare. Comparison only brings more and more trouble that we see in our world today.
Yeah, thanks. Femi, helpmate, the Bible calls the wife to the man. Can you explain that?
It's very simple. In the word itself, a helpmate, it means somebody who could help you. But the thing is that a lot of people, sometimes some men say my wife is not as helpful as she should be. But the question is, there must be something. Before God made man a helpmate, the man had an assignment. God gave man an assignment that he had to be occupied with. And God, realizing that he wouldn't be able to carry out that assignment or that task by himself, was one of the reasons for which God created a woman. So when you are soliciting for help, the question for a man is, what exactly are you asking help for? because you can't be doing nothing and then expect to have help because there's nothing to do. So I believe so very strongly, and I want to say something that I learned early, from reading the Bible in the early days, when I just came to Christ. Meaning that's what I mean by early days, where the Bible says an excellent wife is a crown to her husband. And I had this understanding that it's not impossible, but it's very rare to see a king or a queen without a crown, and that tells me something, that the majesty of a king or a queen, really it's in its crown, and that's what signifies them being enthroned, and if the Bible compares the wife to a crown, it means that we are not complete without her.
True.
So no matter how gifted or how anointed I think I may be, without her, it's still going to be difficult for me to maximize life or to achieve what God wants me to achieve in its fullness. So I believe very strongly, because you see, I know in the world we are today, there's still people who believe that only men are allowed to climb the altar if you're called into ministry, and they don't really embrace a woman having a ministry. And that's why I tell people today that my wife, is also called by God. She's not just by my side. So if you would address me as a man of God, I know and we know that my wife also has a call of God on her life. Address her as a woman of God as well. She's not just in the shadows. She's not just, supporting me behind. She, in her own right, has a voice, has an assignment, has a task to also make this world a better place. So address her in that way, and I tell our church members when we started our church, it's so easy for church members to see you, oh, pastor, and from day one I started telling our church members, this is not going to be the culture in this church, because you guys have no idea how I've gotten to where I am today without this woman. So if all you see is the person preaching most of the time and you think that's the person that you respond to, then you completely missed it out, because I would definitely not be where I am without her
True.
making all the sacrifices and supporting and believing me. And the thing I tell people is that at the end of the day, church members go and come. My wife has always been there, and she will forever be there. So I believe that we need to respond as men more to our wives as helpmate, not just as someone that we live with or have companionship with.
Thank you. Busola, tell me, what are the roles of the man as against the woman?
Okay, for me, I would say as a man, one of the very core roles that I believe men should play is being a supporter, a very strong supporter of the wife. Whatever it is that she wants to do, her dreams, desires, purpose, So being a supporter is very crucial. Being a provider, being someone that always encourages them, because when we look at what is happening in the world today, one of the things I say a lot is, people get into marriage. You go into marriage because you believe you love this person, and together you can make things work. But then you find out that people, when they come into marriage, it could be both ways anyway, whether the man or the woman, because I don't want to say, it only happens to women, it happens to men as well. Has to do with the fact that you don't have, the man or the wife supporting them in things that they don't want to do. Sometimes they're being selfish. It's just about them alone. There's no partnership, in the marriage. And at the end of the day, the dreams that, the man or the woman might have had from the beginning, it becomes truncated. Why? Because there's no support. So I really feel that, in our world today, to really see a lot of, changes in marriage, and to lower the rate of divorce as well, because it's not only finances. Yes, I know finances is one of the, one of the very key things that, destroys home and brings divorce and all of that. But, support, when a woman knows that her husband supports her, and when we talk about support, we're talking about things like, as a wife, you go to work, you come back, you're tired, you don't necessarily have to come home and cook. Your husband could have cooked for you. That's support, because he understands that, you're tired, you've been out all day, say for instance, you have a business, your husband could be the one managing the account if that's his skill, it could be the one manning the shop while you're not, so support goes in different ways, but I think, support is one thing that I've seen, because I've seen in even in family extended families where, marriage is, I've not been what it should be. Why? Because, a partner has not really supported. So I think support is very crucial, encouraging, and knowing that, we're together in this.
Femi, partnership in marriage, what does that mean?
It means several things. It means like she said already, she's really touched on that. I mean, when it comes to support system, it's about realizing that, first of all, there's no partnership without a goal. What is our goal? And when we are clear about the goal, then we know, like she said, this is my strength and this is my weakness. Like every institution, every institution has its strength, has its weaknesses. I as a husband, I have my strength, I have my weaknesses. She as a wife, she has a strength, she has her weaknesses. Like she said, rather than focusing on our weaknesses, let's focus on our strengths. How do we partner? What do I need to do? What do I need to bring? This is what I bring on the table. This is what you bring on the table. Now, we're doing that because, like I said, there's a bigger picture in the family. We know what we want to achieve. We know where we're going to. We know what we want our family, system to be like. So instead of, trying to force the other person to be what they are not naturally gifted or what they're not naturally wired for, why not you bring that on board? So it doesn't matter who is doing it. What matters is it's being done at home. And another thing that I know a lot of marriages, what I do, I mean, I have the privilege of counseling, couples. One of the things that allow partnership not to work in marriages is because we overlook the compensation system in partnership. There is no partnership without compensation. In business world today, one of the things that has sustained partnership apart from leadership, vision, constitution, policy, is also compensation. And it's not like I'm doing what I do to my wife because I want to get something. But the truth is that I must not make her feel I'm taking advantage of her. And I also don't want to feel that, she's taking advantage of me. And so the little way we can compensate each other, for what we bring on the table goes a long way in strengthening our partnership, as a couple, So sometimes, little stuff I do, even with the kids as well, there's partnership with them. Of course, my kids, love what I do, what we call into ministry, but oftentimes, they're not really excited about, I'm gone again. But the thing is that I understand, first of all, one, communication strengthens partnership. Everybody is clear on the terms. Then secondly, I compensate them, I let them know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be away for this long, but this is how we're going to arrive at a point that we're both happy about what we do. So they look forward to it. So they know that daddy does not just pick his bag and he doesn't care, he leaves. The same thing in my marriage as well. I make sure every now and then I try to compensate. My wife also does the same thing, just to let me know, I appreciate what you do. I love what you do.
And how do you compensate him, Busola, yourself?
I think for me, the way I compensate him is helping me understand that I'm in support of what you're doing. I make sure that I show that, through my actions, what I do in terms of, support. It could just be me just, saying some things to him, words. It could be in terms of, maybe in terms of finances, it needs extra cash. If I have it, I'll give it to him. But ultimately helping him know that, I'm with you on this. I support what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And for you to be a fulfilled man, I need to, stand by you, because at the end of the day, when he's fulfilled, I'm fulfilled as well. Because I understand that, for me as a woman, my joy is seeing him be what he desires to be. And the same for me as well. And that way I don't feel, I've been left out, because he supports me and I support him. And I'm happy with that,
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to put that in a context, this is what we say. The greatest gift any man can give to you is to believe in you, and this is what she ensures every time.
Wow.
Because you see, people could say anything they want to say because they see you do what you do and they don't see the other side of you. But she lives with me. She sees the part other people don't see.
Hold on, Pastor Femi, quickly before we go. But if you're married to somebody who doesn't believe in you, who is not supporting you, how do you manage that? You're married already.
Yes.
How do you manage that in 1 minute?
The thing is that I'm going to lay it out as it is. Foundational issues are the most difficult to deal with because, like we said, this is where courtship is important. these are the things that we don't overlook, because the truth is that there's no quick fix for such situation. It's a foundational issue. And once that has been missed from the beginning, it's very difficult, to remedy, in a snap of a finger, But further communication, open communication, and counseling. One of the things that's helped us is that it's modeling. We have a very fantastic, model for marriage. So apart from the fact that we also have determined, and this is what we've decided we want to be, we also have a fantastic model that we look at, that helps us to also check ourselves where we are. So in such situation, very extensive, deliberate, open communication would help in that kind of situation. And maybe go for counseling, see how what the root cause for such things,
Thank you, Femi. Busola, quickly, if there's anything you're going to change about Femi, what will it be?
If there's anything I'm going to change. Did you hear what I said?
No.
Okay. I think this is very fun. Maybe the nose will be more pointed.
I'm sure you're in love with that.
I think, rather than saying that, I think that's about us understanding that we're unique and different. So this is the best that, it can be. This is the best God has created it to be. I just love who it is.
Why not? Why not? Okay, Femi, lastly, I need you to encourage couples out there on how to stay together in one accord with one vision in 1 minute.
I would say if you're out there, I'm believing that you're having a swell time and you're married, but if not, it's workable if you're determined to work at it. And there's nothing that happens without a cause. It's a cause and effect, and it means, just like Isaac Newton said, an object remains at a state of rest until a force is applied. So if you see whatever is working, it means somebody is working it. So if you're willing to work at your marriage, it will definitely work. No matter what is going on there, you can work. You can both sit down, and discuss, about the issues. Like I said earlier, you can seek counseling. And one of the things I encourage is read books about marriages. There is nothing in life, that you cannot learn to do well. And, and I tell a lot of young couples, read books about marriage, read books about being a husband, read books about being a wife, read books about, we have a book at home, know when and how to talk to your husbands. We've learned a lot from those things. But when you overlook information, you're setting your marriage up to fail. Everything that works in life works because of information. So I would encourage you, be informed about every aspect of your marriage, and it will put you in a better place, to be the best husband or the best wife that you can be. Ignorance destroy. So do not be ignorant about this great institution called marriage. God bless you.
Thank you. Wow. How can I say thank you? Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. It's a
privilege. Truly appreciate you.
It's an honor to
Thank
be here.
you. I can only pray for you that what the Lord has started in your lives and in your ministry, it will perfect.
Amen.
In Jesus' name. You are role models, and you shall continue to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, you have been watching Lasting Love, and I trust that you have been blessed. It is important for those people who are getting married or who are looking to get married. It is important for you to be mature. Seek counseling. Put things into perspective. Together, agree on a vision. Put things together, and it will work for you. Until next week, when we come your way again, I remain Fumi Adeye, and I'll see you soon. God bless.